It's about an hour later from my last video. Look at that. Just starts out of nowhere and continues on all the way across. That's not a contrail. That is not a contrail. That starts and stops. Stops right there and then nothing. Starts and stops. There's some chemtrails that have been sprayed that are now dispersing in once was a blue sky this morning. And look at that, the ones over there, still there. And those are slowly dispersing. Look at that. And you can see how it's just turning into a white haze. These are chemtrails that they are spraying, they being those secret organizations that are hell-bent on making sure that they enslave all of humanity. You can read their writings. They have talked about this. Other people that have studied this, that I follow and that I read, you can learn so much from them. Like I said, Dane Winnington at Geoengineeringwatch.org. If you want to read the book None Dare Call It Conspiracy by Gary Allen, that is a book that that the Apostle Benson, Ezra Taft Benson, told the members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints to read. Do you know what that book's about? None Dare Call It Conspiracy? I'll give you just a little hint. It's about conspiracy. It's about the secret combinations that exist in Washington, D.C. Why would he ask the members of the church to read that book? Because it wasn't true? Because this isn't happening? Or because he wanted them to wake up? And by the way, Ezra Taft Benson told the members of the church to read that book over the pulpit. And that is also true. You can look it up. So read that book, None Dare Call It Conspiracy by Gary Allen. Then you'll understand why all this is happening, and who's involved, and why they're doing it, and how they're trying to steal our freedom and our liberty away from us. Not just us, but countries all over the world. Read that book. Great book. There's a book by Skousen, Love Skousen, Cleon Skousen, called The Cleansing of America. If you want to really get into scripture and what's been prophesied, and it's happening right before our very eyes. Great book. Great, great, great book. There's so many other books that are out there, and websites and individuals that can wake you up to what is really happening. I mentioned a few in my last video. Catherine Austin Fitts, she's amazing. True patriot, exposing the money that they're stealing from us. You know how it says in Isaiah how they're going to turn the money into dross? Remember that? To where it's not going to be worth anything? How they manipulate it? The Creature from Jekyll Island is a good book. There's so many books and so many people out there trying to expose the truth, and so many members of the church, whether Democrat, Republican, Libertarian, they don't want to know the truth. Most libertarians I know are pretty privy on most of the books that I've mentioned and what is going on. But mostly on the Democrat and Republican side, they're just too busy wearing the t-shirts and shaking their pom-poms and rooting for their team to really think about what's happening to our country. I'll be up on the roof again in probably another hour to see more of these chemtrails continue to disperse in the sky. I am willing until the day I die to prove to you that this is actually happening, and that your children are getting sick, your elderly parents are getting sick, and probably even you are getting sick Not just from this, but from all of the organizations that are just literally poisoning us. Monsanto. Have you done any research on Monsanto at all whatsoever? Natural News is a great source to look into. Extremely independent, is not funded by government or other secret organizations. Natural News, fantastic. He's called the Health Ranger. I can't remember his name, but he's fantastic. GMO from Monsanto. And all the Roundup that they spray on all the food that we eat. And they say it's completely healthy. That's weird, because Europe did their own studies with their own doctors and came up with the idea that it's totally not healthy for you. A bunch of tumors were actually showing up on the rats that were fed corn, GMO corn from Monsanto. Of course, the media will never tell you that, but it's true. And then we can go into Big Pharma and how they lobby Congress so that they're not liable when people die from their quote-unquote safe vaccines. Vaccines work, but they're a lot different today than they used to be. And you can research that too. You don't have to believe me, but it's absolutely 100% true. They have a vaccine for just about everything. And of course, the media and Big Pharma won't tell you that there's no such thing as lifetime immunity with vaccines. It's not possible. Look on the CDC's website. You have to have booster shots in order to maintain immunity. That means there's no lifetime immunity. This whole idea of herd immunity is ridiculous. It's just a really cool phrase that they use to market. Because guess what? Bacteria and viruses, they mutate all the time, which means that the old vaccine that you took probably doesn't work anymore for the mutated version. And even if it didn't mutate, you would still have to take booster shots every 5 to 10 years. So I'm going to ask all of those who have been vaccinated, like I have been when I was young, have you had your booster shot? If not, you are no longer immune. That's right, there is no such thing as herd immunity. Human beings have been living on this earth for how long? And we've survived? And now we can't survive without hundreds of vaccines to prevent us from all kinds of cancer. Why is cancer so prevalent now? It used to be so rare. Brain cancer, stomach cancer, pancreatic cancer, prostate cancer, skin cancer, brain cancer. It's crazy. There's so much going on that so many are just trying to expose, and we just don't want to listen. We don't want to do our own research. We just want to live in our bubble. But we don't want to pay the price. That's the thing. We want our freedom, but we don't want to take the responsibility in order to maintain that freedom. And that's the honest truth. Until we actually start doing our own homework, reading, trying to understand. Do you think that all of what's going on in the world today is accidental? All these weather phenomenons? Brexit? The fact that countries have literally collapsed? Do you think 2007, 2008, the Great Recession was just an accident? Do you think it was an accident that all the big banks got bailed out? This has all been orchestrated. And unfortunately, we're the pawns until we wake up and start fighting for liberty. Once again, this is me, Brady Price, giving it to you straight on July 5th, the day after Independence Day.